folks, Rick Whittemore here. Want to chat with you a little bit about the current real estate market, where the trends for 2022 came in, how January is performing, and how we are set for the next couple of months in Austin area real estate. So let's get right to it. So what is going on in Austin real estate? Well, you probably see a number of things in the news over time. One thing that hit the news, I believe, last week is Zillow ranked Austin the 30th hottest market in the country, down from number 2 a couple of years ago, number 7 or 8 last year. So their rankings changed a little bit. I always take Zillow with a little bit of grain of salt. If you've ever looked at their estimates, generally they're not super accurate, but they, who knows? You never know. But just some interesting information there. Another statistic that just came out today, CBRE, who is a global leader in commercial real estate, ranked Austin number 2 in the nation. Dallas was number 1, Austin was number 2. So they have a very sunny outlook on the commercial real estate market for 2023 in the Austin area. So that's a good sign. Lots of commercial properties being built, folks moving in. Those could be apartment complexes, warehouses, that type of thing. That's all really good for Austin's economy, which ultimately kind of trickles down to housing as well for purchases of homes and condos. Something else to keep in mind, what I'm seeing a lot of right now is new construction. New construction homes are selling fairly quickly. I'm seeing tons of new construction lots going under contract in the last couple of weeks. A lot of the new construction builders out there are running some really good specials, so there's definitely some good deals to be had out there. Always take new construction with a little bit of grain of salt there as well. They can be a little dicey at times. I just bought a new construction home and I have some horror stories that I would be happy to share with you. So certainly reach out. I can help chat with you about the process of buying a new home, new construction home, and what pitfalls to avoid. All right, so kind of the big elephant in the room when it comes to real estate is interest rates. So interest rates have certainly slowed down the real estate market nationwide and in Austin as well. So I wanted to share this slide with you real quick so you can kind of see what is driving interest rates a little bit. So right here is the Fed funds interest rate. So this goes back to right before the mortgage meltdown. So this slide here starts about 2007. You can see the Fed funds rate was about 5%. So then they hit the big mortgage meltdown of 2008. You can see over the next year, the Fed dropped the Fed funds rate to 0. And they kept it there until 2016. They were feeling good about the economy at that point, and they started stair-stepping it up. And then you can see right at the end of 19, heading into 20, there's the COVID effect. So they started lowering it again a little bit, and then they dropped it down to 0 again. And then so we stayed at 0 until 2022, so about a year ago, is when the Fed started aggressively raising interest rates. So it looks like the Fed is going to continue raising interest rates for a little while. They have a meeting this coming Wednesday. It looks like they'll probably raise the basis point by about 0.25%, which is lower than what they've been doing the last couple of months. So I think a lot of the prognosticators are thinking that the Fed funds rate will continue to go up over the next couple of months. So I would think interest rates, the Fed is going to be raising their rates probably until around summer. And they just kind of based on where the economy is there and employment, that kind of thing, they may make adjustments at that point. So right now, interest rates are coming in at about 6.25%. About this time last week, they were at about 6.15, 6.10. So they went up a little bit in anticipation of the Fed meeting. The 0.25 basis points isn't going to affect mortgage rates a whole lot. So I really anticipate mortgage rates staying probably right around 6.25-ish for a little while. I'm hopeful that we get into summer, end of summer, we'll start seeing a drop in rates and we might see rates down into the 5s again. All right, time to share a few more slides with you. So we're going to talk about 22, and this is a 5-year trend. So you can kind of see what's happened in each of the 5 years as we go through this. Here is total listings for the Austin Multiple Listing Service area. So for the 5-county Austin area. So you can see 2022 is kind of the orange color right there. You can see really low listings a year ago. So didn't have a whole lot of listings then, really jumped up kind of into summer and then tapered off a little bit. So you can see we're kind of headed back down. So the trend is really sticking to where the 5-year trend has been. It was just more listings on the market. But I think we will see that kind of taper off a little bit in the months ahead as well. And we'll touch on that in just a second. So here is what is called monthly inventory. So basically, if everybody in the market who's buying a home right now buys a home and no more new homes come on the market at that point, it would take roughly right now in the Austin area about 2.5 to 3 months for all of those properties to be sold. So you can see the trend here in the 5 years. You can see the two blues are kind of the COVID real estate market. So it didn't take long for homes to sell at all in the COVID market. Here's the number of homes sold. So you can see again, the two blues are the COVID market. So lots of homes sold. They really spiked up the number of sales. Sales are obviously way down. So if you look at this year, or 2022, look at the orange. Things about May really was kind of the peak of the 2022 market. So that's when the COVID market officially ended, I would call that. All right, median sale price. So let's talk about price for a little bit. So you can see definitely in the blues, you saw prices really jump up. In the orange again, that was last year, so the prices really took off. You can see again, we hit that kind of that tip right there in that May, June area, and then prices have continued to drop throughout the year. So we're not seeing a big downward drop in prices. It's a very gradual drop, so it's not a crash. It's just a lowering of prices. And you can see it looks like we're starting to level off a little bit. So we're going to touch on that here in just a minute, because I think prices are going to start going up. We're going to dig a little bit deeper on the last 12 months. So here is closed median price for the last 12 months. So you can see again that May, June, kind of right at that peak, prices steadily dropped. And then you can see right there at January, and with only 2 or 3 days left of this month, so I don't think that's going to change a whole lot. So you see in January, the prices have just started to tick up a little bit. So I think we're going to see that trend continue as we get into the spring market. I don't think we're going to see things really rise quickly. I think it's just going to be a very slow, steady appreciation of home prices again. And here's the number of active listings. So when we get to the number of active listings, we can go back a year, like last February. So you see there were just over like 2,000 homes on the market, not a lot. Right now there's about 8,000 homes on the market. So here's what I think is going to be happening for the next couple of months. We're heading into the spring market now. That's when most of the homes come on the market. That's when most buyers are out there buying. They like to buy in the spring market. So I think a number of sellers are going to be looking at things. If they want to move up and they want to stay in the Austin area, they may look at interest rates and go, gosh, I have a 3% interest rate on my home right now. And if I have to trade and get another home, I may go to 6% or 7% is what I may have to pay. So they may back off and go, you know what, I'm not going to buy a home right now. So what that's going to do, if that scenario plays out, is that's going to create a little bit more of a tightening supply issue, potential issue for us. Number of days on market. So this is the average number of days on market, this slide, for the last 10 years. So if you look at that, average is probably right in there at that 65 days for the last 10 years, 65 days on the market. So that's really not that big of a deal. So now when people are going like, oh my gosh, the number of homes in Austin are 70 days on the market. This is just absolutely crazy. The market's crashing, blah, blah, blah. Not true. Look at the trend. The trend right there is kind of an average for Austin. Overall, you're probably looking at 60, 65 days on the market. The last couple of years really skewed that number lower. And obviously for 2022, that number right there factors in the first half of the year as well. So that certainly is why that number for 2022 is a little bit lower. So I think we're going to be right back up this year. We're probably going to be right back up in line with 2013 through 2018, right in there. I don't think that's going to change a whole lot. And here's a quick look at last year. So this is how it was. You can see how it was really low again. We kind of hit that summer peak and it just started ramping right up. The 12 months inventory. So like right now, as of January, with a couple days left in the year, we're looking at probably about 70 days on the market. So my gut feel for the Austin market, things are good. Interest rates are going to be more than we want to pay, but I think interest rates are going to be what they are. I don't think they're going to be dramatic drops in interest rates. So if folks want to buy, it's actually a decent time to buy. If you can afford to buy, if it's the right time for you, if you need a house, if you're looking to flip something, if you're looking for, I want to stay it in a year and I want to be able to sell it for $100,000 more, then now's not a good time to buy. That's just not the market for you. That was the market a couple of years ago, but not now. Real estate is hyper-local, so demand in different neighborhoods shift all the time. So you're going to see more demand sometimes in Round Rock or Cedar Park or Leander, wherever this would happen to be, than you would see in Austin. And then specific neighborhoods in those areas may be really hot and lots of multiple offers and everybody wants to be there. And then there could be adjacent neighborhoods that just don't have the traction that the other neighborhoods do for a variety of reasons. So it's always changing. It's always different. So if you do have questions about the market, I would love to chat with you a little bit more. Feel free to reach out. Thanks.